the frequency that wasn't there. A Scream Queen original story. It started with a signal. Not a loud one, not dramatic, not even particularly interesting. Just something that shouldn't have been there. Back in 1968, there was a small town on the coast. The kind of town where nothing really changes. The same shops, same faces, same conversations, repeated over decades like a worn-out record. And at the edge of that town sat a narrow, weather-beaten radio station. WCFM. The locals would often call it the Whisper Tower. Not because of anything spooky, just because very often the reception was almost inaudible. Now, the night it began, there was only one man inside, and his name was Arthur Hale. A man in his late 40s, quiet, routine-driven. The kind of man who liked things predictable. Every evening, 10 p.m. sharp, Arthur would sit down, adjust his tie, even though no one could see him, and he would begin the nightly broadcast. Old records, late night dedications, the occasional poetry reading, comforting, familiar, safe. Until one night, it wasn't. It was just after midnight. Arthur had just finished playing a soft jazz number. Something slow and drifting. He reached forward to cue the next track. And that's when he heard it. A faint interruption. Not static. Not quite. It was structured. Like a voice trying to form through interference. He paused, adjusted the dial. Nothing. Just silence. Arthur frowned, but carried on. These things happened. Old equipment, faulty wiring. He let it go. But then it came back. This time, clearer. A whisper. Low. Almost too quiet to hear, but unmistakably human. Hello? Arthur froze. His hand hovered over the controls. Because the strange thing wasn't the voice itself. It was where it was coming from. Not the microphone. Not through the phone lines. Through the broadcast channel. Someone or something was transmitting into his signal. He leaned closer, heart beginning to thump just slightly faster. Hello? He said cautiously. There was a pause, long enough that he almost convinced himself that he imagined it. Then, you can hear me? Arthur swallowed. The voice was thin, distant, like it was traveling a very, very long way to reach him. Another pause. Longer this time. And he heard, I don't know where I am. Arthur frowned. That wasn't the response he expected. Well, where are you broadcasting from? He asked. The reply came slower now, like the voice was struggling. It's dark, and it's repeating. Arthur's fingers tightened slightly on the desk. Repeating? He asked. Yes. The same night. Over and over. A soft hum filled the line. Not static. Something deeper. Like distance. Arthur forced a small, steady breath. All right, he said gently. Let's take this one step at a time. What's your name? Silence. I think it's Margaret. Arthur reached for his notepad, instinctively writing it all down. Okay, Margaret, he said. You've reached WCFM radio. You're speaking to Arthur. Can you tell me what you see around you? There was a pause. And when she spoke again, her voice had changed just slightly. You! Arthur blinked. I'm sorry? I can see you. The room felt smaller. Arthur turned slowly, glancing behind him. Empty. Nobody there. You can't see me, he said, trying to keep his tone even. That's not possible. Another pause. You're sitting at a desk. There's a clock behind you. It's not ticking properly. Arthur's eyes moved slowly to the wall. The clock. It had stopped at exactly 12:17. His stomach tightened. How? He started. You haven't noticed yet, have you? Arthur didn't speak. But it's already happened. The temperature in the room seemed to dip just slightly, but enough to be felt. What's already happened? He asked. No answer. Then he heard, Arthur! He hadn't told her his name again. Don't play the next record. His hand froze, inches from the turntable. Please! The silence that followed stretched, heavy, uncomfortable. Arthur's mind raced. Every rational explanation felt thin, weak. Why? He asked. The reply came instantly, urgent, because that's when it begins. Arthur hesitated. The record sat there, waiting. Routine. Predictable. Safe. But now it didn't feel that way. Arthur, if you play it, you won't remember this conversation. His chest tightened. You'll start again. The hum deepened. And I'll have to find you all over again. Arthur slowly pulled his hand back. All right, he said quietly. I won't play it. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, a soft, almost relieved breath. Good. The room felt still. Too still. Arthur leaned forward slightly. Margaret, he said. How long have you been trying to reach me? Silence. I don't know. It feels like a long time. A faint crackle hummed over the speaker. Sometimes you hear me, but most times you don't. Arthur swallowed. And what happens when I don't? The answer came softer now. You play the record. And then everything resets. Arthur's gaze drifted back to the turntable. The record, waiting. What's on the record? He asked. The line trembled slightly. I don't think it's music. Chill ran up his spine. I think it's a door. Silence. And you keep opening it. Arthur stood up slowly. The chair creaked far louder than it should have. Margaret, he said. I'm going to check something. Stay with me. No response. Margaret? The line hissed softly. I'm here. Arthur walked carefully toward the equipment rack. Every step felt deliberate, measured. He reached the back panel, checked the cables. Everything normal. Too normal. Arthur? He turned back towards the desk. It's starting again. What is? He asked. The clock. He looked. The second hand moved. Once. Twice. And then stopped. 12:17. Again. Arthur's breath caught. You're running out of time. The air felt thick now. Heavy. Please, don't let it reset. Arthur moved quickly now. at the desk. "What do I do?" he asked. The signal flickered. "Turn it off!" He hesitated. "The station?" he asked. "Everything." The lights flickered. Arthur's hand hovered over the main switch. "If you don't, you'll stay here." A low, distant sound began to rise, not from the equipment, from somewhere deeper. "With me." Arthur's chest tightened. "What does that mean?" he asked. The reply came, barely audible. "You already are." The sound grew louder, like someone tuning in. Arthur closed his eyes, just for a moment. Routine, predictable, safe. That's what he had always relied on. But this wasn't routine anymore. He reached forward and pulled the switch. Everything went dark. Silence. Total. Absolute. And then nothing. No voice, no hum, no signal. Just quiet. Arthur stood there in the dark, breathing slowly, listening, waiting. Minutes passed, or maybe seconds. It was hard to tell. Eventually, he reached for the door and opened it. Outside, the town looked the same, still, unchanged, safe. But something felt off, subtle, like a memory just out of reach. Arthur stepped out into the night, and behind him, inside the station, a single light flickered. And suddenly, the equipment powered on its own, and the record slowly began to spin. Back inside the empty room, a voice crackled through the speaker. "Hello? Can you hear me? I don't know where I am." The clock on the wall ticked once, twice, and stopped. 12:17 again. And somewhere, very far away, or maybe very close. A man's voice replied, "Yes, you're coming through the station. Who is this?" And the loop continued.